Is this an appropriate place for me to say I'm a Star Trek guy, not a Star Wars guy?
Absolutely, and then we'll both laugh at you.
And we'll edit that out. Okay.
No,
But I think that there's a whole Star Trek thing there too. So I'm a big Star Trek guy myself.
Don't watch the new movie.
I heard it's terrible.
God awful.
Yeah, nobody asked for this. Nobody asked for
It's supposed to be a
this.
series. But
Yeah, but the Star Trek thing in terms of like the Star Trek door experience.
Okay.
Like everybody wants
everyone's
that
talking about that now. Why? Actually, why? Why is everyone talking about the Star Trek door right now?
because they don't want even tapping your watch to a reader may be too much friction. I just want to walk up to a door and have the thing recognize me and open. And I think that's where we're going.
But how science fiction is that? How far away are we from this?
A couple of years.
Why is that? Why is that not available today?
Because of the broad adoption of UWB as a standard not being baked into the readers yet.
Got it. So it's a technical limitation right now.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we're waiting for readers with the UWB.
That's right.
Welcome back to another episode of Locked In on Security, your go-to podcast for everything security related. Brought to you by Alert Enterprise, the leaders in AI-powered physical identity access management.
I mean, so Phil, you're called the man, the meme, the legend. So good to have you here, man.
Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Thank you very much.
Last time we talked, I started off with a question about Star Wars because I know how much you love Star Wars.
Yes, it holds a space in my heart.
Me as well. So right now, my kids and I are watching Skeleton Crew.
Yep, great show.
Great show. It's an adventure show for kids, for families, and it's all about sort of getting out of your comfort zone and then go find new adventures. And there's a treasure component to it. There's some pirates and there's some treasure component to it. So I was thinking, like, if you were on an adventure to find the mobile treasure this year, what would that be? Like, what would be that great haul of mobile treasure that you would find?
Well, so a couple of things. One, as of the recording of this, I have not finished Skeleton Crew yet. I'm halfway through it, and on the flight back home tonight, I think I'm going to finish it.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
Thank you.
Okay.
But from like a treasure perspective, like the selfish salesperson in me says, more people adopting mobile and ordering more credentials, but I don't really think that's the thing. It's not about, for me, like taking the physical credential and just putting it on your phone, because I think that there's going to be this interim time period where we're still going to be carrying a badge and the mobile credential enhances that value and convenience. And I think the treasure is the discovery of the value and the convenience. And where our tech partners like you guys fall into that mix and offer this amazing, seamless experience that gets people saying, now I understand mobile. It's not just about tapping my card or my phone to the reader.
It's the aha moment.
Exactly.
The light bulb comes
everybody
on.
has their aha light bulb moment, and there's nothing more enjoyable than watching someone figure it out for the first time. Whether we're sitting in the lobby of a building in New York City on a Monday morning at 8 a.m. watching people tap through. For me, it was, I literally had my hands full. I had a laptop in one hand, cup of coffee in the other. Forgot I was wearing an Apple Watch, was able to tap right in at the door.
Yep.
Literally, light bulbs
Look,
off
mom,
in my
no
head.
hands. See, right?
Exactly. I love being able to witness those, and honestly being able to deliver and provide those to our users is, I think, one of the most gratifying aspects of what we do.
100%. We just got out of a conference, and there were a bunch of end users in the panel, and one of them was talking about, again, not necessarily the interaction point, but the fact that they've completely gotten out of the card issuance game.
Oh, man.
Like, their return on investment is massive.
It must be huge for them.
It's huge. They no longer, and like the process and getting away from the process, because the question came up, like, is there truly an ROI? HID, I talk about the ROI all the time.
Yeah.
The ROI is real, especially if you're issuing cards at scale.
Right.
To get that process off the physical world and bring it to the digital world.
Modernize it.
It's completely modernized.
Yeah.
Completely modernized, and you don't have to do anything. You don't even have to go into the access control software and enter anybody's information. They all do it themselves. and then the credential hits their wallet and they tap it to the reader, and that whole thing is magic.
Well, I mean, think about that. We always talk about the user experience as the user going through a door, into a space, but the user experience is the security practitioner and his or her staff, right? Like, all of a sudden, like saving time, saving effort so that they can go and do the thing that they actually want to do, which is keep people and the property safe.
Yeah.
Like now it frees up their time. They're not just sitting in an administrative mode, and they can move on. And that's got to feel good.
You know, I think the other magic also is when they discover, and this might sound hokey, right? Just bear with me for a second. But when they discover the value of the sustainability, you know, again, from this panel, one of the other folks was like, we lead the industry, their particular industry, in sustainability, in clean energy. And we know that plastic card is going to end up in a landfill at best and in the ocean at worst.
Right.
And so for us, starting out mobile was a no-brainer, right? And then you have all the other values and benefits that come along with the seamless process and the magical experience. But for them, the main driver was the whole argument around sustainability.
So it aligned.
I like to think that the magical experience of tapping and having that delightful interaction at the door is honestly the last step of the experience that we deliver.
100%.
I think our responsibility as an integration company is to deliver the best provisioning experience, the best experience from the first time I pick up my phone, I download the app, or I go to the link, I sign in, I make sure I'm signing in with the same corporate credentials I use for Salesforce, I use for ServiceNow, I use for anything else. I'm not dealing with usernames and passwords and PIN codes.
Right.
I think that's such a critical element of this. And then passing it over the flow of the same experience that I've had, putting a credit card in my Apple Wallet, and then boom, that's where that last step of magic happens, when I'm actually tapping at the door here.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Magic and experience, I think, really manifests itself in at least 3 or 4 different steps along the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you just talked about being at HID Origin.
Yep.
Fantastic event, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great.
You guys do a fantastic job. This is my first year, and I just think you guys hit it out of the park. I just love the fact that we got both education, but we got to network with our peers in the industry. And so we could all talk about, you know, the things, the challenges that we are all going through and ways that we've solved them. So that was really exciting. But for you, you know, what does that event mean to you, and what do you really sort of take out of that as you go forward for the rest of the year?
For me, anytime we're getting together at a conference, the keynotes are great, and it gives you a really good insight into the thinking, the internal machinations and the thinking process of the larger company in general, right? What is HID's vision for the future? But beyond that, I think the magic, if we're talking about magic again, the magic is in the breakout sessions.
Right.
And really coming away with that aha moment that says, oh, I didn't realize that this particular thing could do this, or what was the strategy behind why, you know, maybe a price reduction or the new features of an API, and what that the value that unlocks for tech partners like you guys. Like, it's the value for me is in that learning experience. And yes, could that be done in a Zoom call or a Teams call? Yeah,
Sure.
But there's something very different and special about being able to sit in a room with the thought leadership and then hearing from our partners and saying, yes, we love this, or no, could you do this a different way? And it's only in that collaborative setting. So yeah, I think the event was phenomenal, and the learning that HID did during that session is actually incredibly valued to us as an organization.
And this is my second year at Origin, and the second Origin last year was great. I think it laid the foundation for what this year has iterated and evolved into. It was well executed. I think things flowed really well. Last year, some of the biggest takeaway and feedback was the networking was so special. And, you know, a lot of companies came in with these preconceived notions of who my competitor is. And a lot of barriers were broken down last year. And I saw that continue to echo through to this year. And I'm really excited to see where HID takes Origin next year and how they continue to level up this experience, because there really is no other conference like this in the industry right now.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I had dinner with a gentleman last night from a tech partner that does badging. Like that's their specialty. Yep. And they were saying, well, we're missing, like our gap is here. We're missing this component. I'm like, have you talked to this company and this company? That guy's sitting over there and that lady's sitting over there. Have you had a conversation with them about a partnership? And he's like, oh, you know what? That's a great idea. And that, again, is never going to happen.
It's never going to happen at a trade show.
Right, or at a trade show.
Everyone's doing their own thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And the other thing, finally, on this topic is like, for me, seeing the investment that HID is putting into this space,
right?
It just shows like, this is moving forward. Like the time is now. This is not, we're sort of thinking about whether or not this is going to be the next thing. It is already, and all the investment is there. And therefore, like all of us as part of the ecosystem, we are building it together in collaboration. And we know that HID is putting in the effort to support it on all levels. And I think, for our customers, they can know that and have that assurance that this is a commitment by the entire industry to move this forward in a way that's going to bring good outcomes, great outcomes to our customers. And I think it was great.
Absolutely. I mean, it would be foolish for us to think or to act in a way in which we just continue to do business as usual, right? We make, let's call it what it is. We sell a lot of cards, a lot of plastic cards, and we can continue to do that in perpetuity until the industry changes. And we can wait for the industry to change, but then what does that mean for us? And do we end up like the Kodaks and the Blockbusters of the world that waited too long? And the leadership of this company has said—
Blockbusters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's still one left. But the leadership of this company has said, we need to change now to be prepared for the future. The future is bright and the future is mobile, but the future may be in other technologies. But we need to make these investments today to see it bear fruit 5, 10, and 15 years from now, because we don't want to be left behind as being the legacy player in the access control industry.
Sure. So I'll get you out on this, Phil. You're the king of memes on LinkedIn. So if you think back, what's your favorite meme that you've posted so far? There's too many. There's so many good ones. I think you did a Pulp Fiction one the other day that was hilarious. What's your favorite meme?
That's like asking who's your favorite child. To me, I think they're all hilarious.
But everyone has one.
Everybody has it. So it's one that has not been released yet as of recording this, so probably by the time you're watching, you will have seen it. But I took the scene from Inception, and where the character Cobb turns to Saito, the guy who's asking for the Inception, and he turns around and he says, "If I could even do this, I need a guarantee." And Saito turns around and he says, he goes, "What kind of guarantee can you give me?" He says, "I can't, but I can do it. And can you trust me, or do you want to die an old man filled with regret?" But like on top of his head is like the HID logo, and he's holding up the mobile credential. It's awesome. It's hilarious. So one of the ones that I posted yesterday was Gandalf, you shall not pass. And boom, it's the mobile credential against a Flipper Zero, right? Because the Flipper can't do, we enforce strict encryption at the reader and on the credential that you don't always necessarily get with the physical card. By the way, please put an encryption key on your physical cards, please, please, please. But if you don't, there's a risk, there's vulnerability there. Whereas with mobile, it's not quite possible today to defeat it with a device like that. That's as of today, by the way, for all of you who are going to comment below and tell me, but it's not going to be that way in the future. Yes, I know that. Yeah. But today, we can stand there as Gandalf and say, "You shall not pass," and have that be a true statement. There's lots more to come in that regard. I will keep up the meme game for as long as it continues to bring entertainment to people.
Can't wait for
keep it up, Phil. I appreciate everything you're doing for the HID brand, for the industry as a whole.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Refreshing take that I think we all really need. I think sometimes we take things too seriously. I like the levity that you bring into it while also delivering a really great message.
Yeah,
so
thank you very
much.
Good work. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel to stay up to date on the latest episodes. Share this episode with your network and engage with us in the comments below. We'll catch you on the next episode.